Petri dish, the Petri dish, the Petri dish.
This is
The Petri dish, the Petri dish, the Petri dish. Fuck it. This is the Petri dish. This is the growing in here, and it's an increasing hatred of everything I create, including this very podcast. What's up, everybody? I'm back, and this time it's exactly the same. I stopped for like 3 or 4 weeks because I was like, who gives a fuck? Life is pointless. But you know what? If life's going to continue to be pointless, I'm going to let it be pointless while I do things and make content. Speaking of making content, my guest today is the same guest as the last time that I quit for a while and came back, because he inspires me to keep making the things that I make, because I don't want to make them until someone reminds me that I exist outside of my own brain. It's Clif, everybody. He's back.
I'm either your life coach or your life sponsor.
I think I like that. Maybe just
Lifeaholics Anonymous.
What's that thing where people get placed on suicide watch and they just have a buddy?
Oh, you're a 5150.
There you go.
Yeah, okay.
You're my shadow.
I'm also trained for that too.
Perfect. Make sure I don't just break free and go head first into a wall facing my neck down so I break it.
We just got to make sure we got like physical restraints, because I don't think we can do chemical right now.
No, and physical might be tough though, because I can break through most Velcro things.
I've taken down taller than you. You know this, yes.
Oh, fuck. I mean, I was threatening everyone with a gun earlier. That doesn't help my case.
Well, yeah. I mean...
But it was for comedy, guys.
It was for comedy. And it will not be talked about the entire time.
No, it's going to be so good.
It's just going to be a blip.
Yeah, shit. I mean, the last time we did a podcast was the last time we shot a Too Fat for That.
Yeah. So
and
apparently this is just going to be a thing now.
It's going to be the thing. Every time I shoot, every 4 weeks or something, then I'll do a podcast. I don't know. I don't know if I could... Like, if I now just tell myself, like, this is going to be a monthly podcast instead, then I just won't do it.
Yeah. And then, well, it'll just be me coming over and being like, hey, we got to do a podcast.
Yeah. So now, you know, like, I either have to commit again to doing it every week, like I say I will, or just fucking cancel it. Finally just put the nail in the coffin. Finally.
We'll send it out to the listeners. Do you want to continue hearing the Petri Dish podcast, or do you absolutely hate Bobby?
For the love of God, tell me to cancel it. Tell me my YouTube videos are funnier, even though I know none of you watched it.
Well, you know, I know a bunch of people that have watched it, including my sister, who I do a podcast with, called the Normal View Podcast. It's out every Friday. Yes, and then every once in a while, we've played with the... maybe having a guest on, and then my sister's like, nah. So
that's the mistake I made, is having a podcast that isn't technically all about me. Although now it can be. I mean, really, that used to be the intro, is just, welcome to the podcast. That's just whatever I want it to be.
Yes.
And honestly, that's what this is. Because really, at this point, all I can do is make this podcast an update on whatever weird manic shit that I'm getting into now.
Yes, the Adderall-fueled update.
Yeah, and so really, this podcast is just going to be exactly as it always has been, but more spelled out in the fact that it's, what have I been up to? Well, learning to edit videos.
Yeah, no, we actually had help with the video today.
Yeah. My buddy Jacob, who everyone might remember from the cheap carpet music video that we put together for Sad Giants. He's been looking to get more stuff to do, so we just had him over to shoot the Too Fat for Yoga episode.
And he has a full 20 seconds of your taint.
Yeah, just staring right down the barrel of a guy. He also just has one of me like standing, because he had me sitting, and then I just stood up and was just adjusting my pants. So he just has 1 4-second clip of me and just full camel toe.
Well, yeah. Well, that's also because you wore the world's tiniest shorts.
Yeah, I wore Alicia's bike shorts.
Yeah,
because I figured it'd be funnier if I was wearing something ridiculous. Yeah.
It's a good thing she doesn't listen.
Yeah, I don't think she has the ability to listen to this, because I'm just going to keep going on her phone and deleting it every time it shows up.
Well, there's that. There goes the ad revenue. Jeez.
Yeah, now I can just talk shit all day. Yeah. I don't think I get ad revenue from this guy anyway. If anything, I'd be getting 15 cents a year.
Hey, you know,
great.
My podcast, we've made an entire $1.48 in ad revenue. So
well, there you go. Well, yeah, you guys probably use Anchor though, right?
Yeah, Anchor.fm. Yeah, remember, use Anchor.fm.
Yeah,
I wish
thought
we had an
about
offer code.
I thought about transitioning over to Anchor, but then I saw that you don't own the rights to your audio anymore, so I said, fuck it, I'll go back to paying for my shit so it can be hosted forever, and it's mine.
But the nice thing is it like aggregates everywhere.
Yeah.
So
I mean, like, that's what Libsyn is up to. It shoves it out to all the various places and any new ones that might show up. And then, like, I get to fuck with the metadata a little bit, and it gives me good enough stats that I can be like, okay, who should I never have on again?
And then you're going to find out it's Clif. 2 times, no.
I mean, honestly, like, yours are peaking up pretty high, if only because I actually advertise them when they happen.
Well, and plus my fans of my other podcast, all 6 of them come and listen.
Well, that's true. Like, whenever I have people on the podcast, most of them just don't give a fuck enough to like share it out there or tell other people to listen.
I'm a big media whore, so there's a
perfect, and that's why we get along. Cliff, because you'll join my dumb games.
Yes.
It's all part of the plan.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Among Us has been fun. Yes.
Yeah, that's the other thing that I've started as of a few like a month or something ago is I finally built a gaming rig, and now we've just been doing Among Us hangouts every Saturday.
Built is a strong word.
It showed up in a lot of other different boxes, and now it is one mostly cohesive unit.
Yeah, I will say it's built if your motherboard's hooked up properly.
You know, there's just a few USB holes that don't work, and there's just the HDMI hole doesn't have anything going to it. Do you want me to take a look at
it? I will look at it for you.
I'd rather figure it out myself so that, like, when I try to upgrade or do anything myself, I have enough of that knowledge. But then again, that's how I fail at everything I do, by thinking I can do it myself.
Well, I mean, that's the best way to learn is to just try to do it.
Yeah, really.
That's how I did podcasting.
I learned mostly through failure. Like, my job has been very kind to me in that fact. Where that, like, there was one time when I was at work. I think I can talk about this now, since technically it doesn't have anything to do with the details of my job. And now I know a little more about line laws, line lays, loon laws,
that line laws,
the loon loos. But like one time we were having to work over Christmas on a very important project, and I was tasked with using the software that is made by IBM. Which, if you don't know enough about IBM, whenever they make anything,
International Business Machines,
yeah, whenever they create a software, it's boring as fuck.
Oh yeah,
it's very plain, and it doesn't help you at all.
Anyone who's ever used AS400 knows that.
Yeah, so we were using the Doors thing to track like software requirements, and I didn't know what any of that shit meant back then. So I was told these lines of the data need to go, and I was like, cool, I can delete stuff. So I just went in and started deleting shit from there to there, like they said, and then 4 hours in, someone comes in and they're like, half my fucking document's missing. I'm like, you told me to delete from here and here. They were like, you're in the wrong view. So I had apparently deleted like 3 whole sections of data that were very needed.
Jeez.
Because I was in the wrong view of a thing. And that's now how I have learned what the requirement software is, how it works, how the views work, and all the various functions, because I caused a lot of work for someone on Christmas Day.
Wow. And then your boss came in with a goose, and they were screaming about seeing 3 spirits in the night.
Yes.
And,
yeah, and then there was a thing about Jacob Marley or something.
Yes. That's got to be the worst thing, is being a ghost in Victorian England. Because it's like, it's not so much that it's a shock. It's just like, I guess we have ghosts.
I would also love, like, the idea that ghosts are hack in Victorian England. They're like, oh, this place is haunted too? Come on, what's your story? Ooh, you died from the contamination in the river.
No, contamination.
Contamination in the river.
Yeah.
My brain is off now. Like I had the one thing to do today, and
you did it.
I was kind of hoping that both of you would just in tandem cancel, and then Jacob showed up, and I was like, oh fuck, it's already 2:00.
And
like, right when I was thinking that.
No way that I was going to cancel. You know me. I actually got broken up with once because of that. I was dating this girl for a while, and I always showed up early for dates and all this kind of stuff. And she's like,
"You're too committed.
There's no surprise." And she said, and I quote, "You're too dependable, too reliable." It's like, do you want me to beat you? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, you need to. You know, like there's the old adage, beat your wife. You know, like that's no.
It's a rule of thumb, actually.
Yeah, that is the thing.
Yeah.
But it is It is weird how, like, you know, the people enjoy different types of affection, and some people's affection, they want it to be spontaneous and romantic, and other people, I think we're very much the same in the fact, like, there's a plan, let's fucking do the plan. If there's no plan, I don't want to do shit because there's no plan.
And why are we doing this thing that we haven't planned? Like,
exactly.
It's not so much like I don't like being spontaneous. I will do stuff, like I'll go get flowers for my wife or something like that. I can be spontaneous, but... If it's something like a trip,
I need it planned out,
yeah, you got it. Like, and it's, I don't understand people who are like, you know, yeah, I'm going to go on vacation. I'm going down the coast. Okay, cool. Where are you going?
I don't know.
Wherever.
Fuck. Yeah.
It's like,
no.
Don't you need to like have reservations at hotels and do, you know, like, yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I was raised with like, whenever we did a vacation, we went to AAA. Figured it all out. They got us reservations, gave us maps.
There you go.
Like this is.
I don't think like I never had. I don't remember having vacations for anything. But if we did, there was always a plan in my mom's head, and she just never told it to anybody.
Okay.
So I think that's where I get, like, I already have from her DNA the neurotic tendency to need plans, and I also have
the tendency to not share them.
Yeah, and the tendency to not share them. So, like, I have many things fully realized in my head, and I will plan a thing and then not tell anybody any of the things. Like when you and Jacob got here, I was like, "Here's the plan," because I forgot to tell you, and I didn't plan until now, but it's in there. There's a thing.
Yeah, because I like shooting these things. They're okay when it's just you and me.
When there's other cameras
I can
involved,
just follow you and do whatever. And like, because we were crossing each other's shots so much, because they're like, "Well, I think we should do this. Well, I'm going to do this." What?
Yeah, it can be tough, especially when there's it's an action based show.
Well, yeah,
so I'm always
we had
just
multiple
fucking around.
cameras going too. Like, it's just like.
But still, it'll hopefully I'll be fine. I'm going to assume it'll be great. Much like everything I do is flawless because I plan to have weird failure. Like everything I do, I plan to have not a layer of irony, but a layer of like, I'm making this and the production is too far beyond my capabilities. So we're both here like learning
overt effort.
Yeah. So it's like, hey, everyone watching, we're doing bad together. You know, like you're along for the ride just like I am. I set this roller coaster up to put myself on.
Yeah, I'm trying very hard. You enjoy it.
Yeah. And so it's tough to make that style of comedy come across.
Yeah.
And I feel like if I had more planning for myself, I could set it up a little better. Or if I gave you a script ahead of time,
yeah, that would be great.
It would be better.
Yeah.
And so that's
that
like
way I could plan shots.
Exactly.
And things like that. And
that's the level of planning that I want to get to, that I know is going to be the barrier of, do I get enough of a serotonin release from making this thing exist to not only write a script and have us film it, but then take the time to edit it and put it out in a timely manner.
Yeah. Well, you know, you can also like start a Google Doc.
Yeah.
Like, invite me to it. We'll like make changes and do stuff. And
oh, that'd be so smart.
Yeah, and we could do like even just a call over, like, you know, Hangouts or whatever too.
Yeah, or just like while we're sitting for an hour in Discord waiting for other people to join among us, plan something out.
Let's plan things. Yeah.
Fuck. Yeah, that's like my biggest problem is loving planning and hating doing. I love to have made a thing, and I just hate doing it.
Well, you're probably like me, where it's like, yeah, I'm going to tune everything on my PC to the perfect bit, and I'm going to make sure my workshop has everything in its place, and I should probably make something.
Yeah. I love to get things prepared as long as there is no set deadline.
Well, actually, I
need it, though. I
found that having a deadline actually helps me, especially with the other podcast, because we record on Monday, and then it goes up on Friday, no matter what. And I give myself that week.
I've been saying for the last 4 years, whenever I started this fucking podcast, I've been saying the whole time, I need to just pick a specific day and a specific time and record every time on that time, because then it'll also afford me the ability to live stream it and have a live podcast situation.
Well, and then you can also, like, you don't have to have people here at the table.
Yeah, I can just do...
I use Zencaster. It works really well.
Man.
They let you do 8 hours for free every month, so
it's not bad. And plus, I have the ability to like call people directly,
exactly.
In this situation.
Throw a TRRS cord on that thing, yeah.
And I don't want to. I also don't want to go through the like hassle of booking people to be on the show and then just having them forget.
Well, yeah. Well,
so I guess I would have to
you always,
up on remind them.
You always have me as your whipping boy, so just.
I guess
I'd like to hope that people like the sound of my voice.
I think so. I haven't gotten any complaints, and that's when I really know I've fucked up.
When people complain.
Yeah, it's like, hey, maybe don't have Jonathan eat McDonald's directly into the microphone anymore. And I'm like, you are correct.
Well, McDonald's is just so enticing to eat into a microphone.
I know. There was one podcast, I think it was me, Jonathan, the third on the painting that we have of all of us, and it was me, him, and Austin doing a podcast in my old apartment, and just eating Egg McMuffins directly into the microphone. That's what we were all doing. Okay. That was the intro to the podcast. It was like intro faded out, fading in is just chewing, just loud chewing. It was so gross.
Let me just take one of these avocados.
There you go.
Yeah.
Fuck. Yes. It smells like peanut butter in here because I made the peanut butter balaclava. Now I'm saying balaclava for the baklava.
Yes. A peanut butter balaclava would be interesting.
Yeah. Baklava is one of my favorite desserts, and there was just a binging with Babish. No, it wasn't binging. It was basics with Babish from the Babish Culinary Universe, now on YouTube. But...
binging your basics with Babish in a baklava.
Babisha bacon baklava. He made it, and then I realized how easy it was. And I always knew how easy it was. I just figured, like, fuck it. I don't want to do it.
It's layers of pastry. It's not the hardest thing.
And then you just shove some chopped nuts in there and dump syrup on it. And so I was like, okay, I'll finally do it. And now I regret learning to make my favorite dessert because now there's no reason for me not to make it and just have some shit around and experiment and do cool stuff.
Health is a reason.
And that's the thing is I'm realizing like I really have to take care of myself even harder because I haven't been because I figured, well, fuck it.
Well, that's the entire like the thing about your YouTube channel is you haven't taken care of yourself.
Exactly. And that was the crux of this last episode is like you need to there's daily maintenance too, not just the fun go learn a thing, but it's like, hey,
the shoe standoff I think will be the best.
Yeah, the fact that I have trouble tying my shoes again is not a fun realization. Like 1 year ago I ran a 10K. Like that and it wasn't the worst timing. It was snowing heavily, but I still made it in an hour and 20, Wow. And so, like,
I could probably finish a 10K in a week or two. Yeah,
like it was rough. But now, like, I can't even jog steadily for a mile without, like, I would die because I can't. Like, my legs can't keep up, and I can't breathe anymore.
Well, my knees would buckle, but that's because I did football my freshman year and messed them up.
I'm glad I never did that. I stayed away from all sports because I was like, I don't want to hurt myself because I like entertainment and playing guitar too much. So I don't want to end up fucking myself up. So now I'm at the point where I'm like, oh, I can slip so far in a short amount of time because I was doing good earlier this year, and now I can't do any of that shit. And I'm like, whoa, it took. In my mind, I'm like, oh, whoa, it took 3 months off the rails. But I'm like, okay, no, that would be if we were in fucking August right now.
Yeah.
And that's where my brain is. Like, I can't even fathom that October is almost over.
It's more like 6 months off the rails.
Yeah. And so, because I was going to the gym.
That's America right now.
Exactly. It's everything, just March onward is just, everyone is just
I can't remember where I heard this, but someone was talking about they were waiting to see what happened with the after the pandemic because America's basically going to have PTSD after this.
Yeah.
And they said, like, so is all of America going to go be strippers or is this?
God, I really want to see what comes of this country existing because I don't think it will exist the same soon.
What do you think about it's going to do for like horror? Because like horror has always kind of followed whatever the zeitgeist is. Like, I know we've had a lot of racial tension lately, and that gave us stuff like, Us and Get Out and all that kind of stuff.
I feel like that stuff was already brewing. It's going to be a lot. It's going to go back to the thriller of the human, like the human condition, like how far. It's not going to be horrible animals. It's not going to be, like creatures or ghosts.
So it's going to be the Strangers style, basically.
Yeah, it's going to go back to cerebral, like what is humanity able to do to itself.
Oh yeah, no.
So that is the scariest thing, because we've already seen what we'll do to each other, and it's fucking terrifying.
We might also get the fear of the other kind of thing again, and then definitely something that's got analogs to diseases like the whole Alien franchise.
I wouldn't be surprised if zombies came back.
Well, they are due.
Because it was like zombies were hot in the 2000s, but then vampires took over. And then everyone is like, this is all stupid. And
well, that's just because vampires were sexy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what was after vampires?
Was
it like invisible things?
I think it was more spectral things, yeah.
Yeah. I think what kicked vampires back out was the popularity of like Paranormal Activity, or like some of those other invisible demon type of things.
Well, Paranormal Activity was just like, that is literally a cash cow, because they took under I think they spent like $15,000 shooting it.
Man.
And it made over $1 million.
Yeah.
Immediately.
And that franchise went downhill so quick.
Well, yeah, but that's just because that's what Blumhouse does.
Yeah.
I love the quote from the head of Blumhouse. He's like, someone was asking him like, wow, Whiplash was nominated for an Oscar. Isn't that great? It's like, yeah, I didn't do great numbers. It's like, oh, you're in it for the money. This is not an art thing for you. Yeah.
That's what's tough, because like Paranormal Activity 1 was really good, 2 was decent, and 3 was actually not bad at all, and then they sold the franchise.
Yeah, well, and Blumhouse, that's their thing. They're like, make it one location, a limited amount of actors, be able to do these special effects on the cheap, and we'll make as much money as we can off of it. Like,
not a bad move.
Yeah, and I know it's a like show business.
Yeah.
But it's just like, sometimes you want like auteurs to come in and be like, hey, I want to do this. And yeah, it's cheap, but it has a vision,
Yeah. And that's what I hope for the things I create.
Yeah.
Is there's enough of a vision and just enough production that people are like, I see the heart and spirit behind this.
Well, we'll make our own Blumhouse style horror movie.
There we go.
I had an idea for a sketch that was kind of based off the whole Paranormal Activity thing. Like, guy's setting up a camera in his house. Like, there's been a lot of weird things happening in this house. So I'm going to set up this camera here, and we're going to see, because it always happens in the living room, And then just like there's big flashing lights from behind the camera. It's like, oh my God, the ghost is in the hallway. It's like, God damn it. And then it's like, I got multiple cameras now. There's one here, and then there's one here, and I have them set up in like an array. And then you just hear like, there's a ghost in between the cameras. It's like, really?
That would be funny. You just always miss it.
Or like, you just have it where it's like, okay, I have it set. We're good. I think I'm actually going to catch it now. And then you like see the lights start up, and then like the little battery going dead.
That could actually just be a fun YouTube series. Yeah,
it's
just like, oh fuck. That would be fun.
Yeah.
And that'd be cheap as fuck to make.
Exactly. You don't have to show anything. It's just, you'd make it look weird.
The mystery. The mystery of comedy.
Yes.
Oh man. I haven't even been studying up on the things that I should be doing. Like my plans for being locked in for the pandemic was like do more music stuff, which I started doing, failed miserably, and then just quit completely on. And then I was like, fuck it, I'll do Twitch streaming. And so I looked all the stuff up, and now I'm like, I don't like a lot of people or that many video games anymore. I was hot into video games for a second, and then I was like, oh yeah, I remember that I need to do other things. And so now I'm just kind of down to like, I like Among Us and fun party games.
Well, yeah, like the Jackbox 7 was fun though.
Yeah. And then, like, of course, when I first started up everything in the pandemic, I was like, I'm going to do so many podcasts, and I can call people and stuff. And then I just never. I quit halfway through. I had like 3 podcasts out, and then I was just like, oh, people.
Well, I have an idea for a mockumentary for you if you're willing for it.
Oh, boy.
We just go to the open mic on Tuesday, and we get as many comedians that are there for the open mic. I'll do like little testimonials with them. talking about, Bobby Benedict, like, oh yeah, that dude's a classic, that kind of thing. And then we'll just shoot you doing the worst set you could think of. And then just the juxtaposition of everyone saying nice things about you to like, yeah, feet are weird.
God, that would be really fun.
Yeah. Well, and then I know, what is it? Dylan's going to have his roast. He hit me up to do sound for that one.
Do it.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
No, you'll see a lot from the Reno comedy sphere as I've been trying to like record everything and hopefully put it out eventually.
Yeah, I'm hoping we can have, just a little more things out there of quality because, I mean, fuck, I've been trying to do a few of the shows around town that exist now, and like a few people have told me like, wow, yeah, I specifically avoid any comedy around here because of the few times that I saw it and it was terrible, but you're good. And I was like, oh, that blows.
Yeah, no, I will say, I think this is one that's considered by everybody to be a good show. I know tomorrow is going to be at the Emerson every Monday. It's a great show. It's Cy Looney, one of the most funny comedians we have.
Definitely.
And mortal enemy of Brandon Straker. They have a fun back and forth.
Yeah, they do. I love that they try to do a roast joke for each other every open mic.
Oh, yeah. No, it's great. Yeah, no, and I've been recording that actually for the Emerson, so they're going to like try to put out like, stuff for that. So
sweet. Man, I've just like, I know that we have a lot of very funny people in the scene, and I know we need to keep doing things and being consistent and trying to engage the outer world, not just our little audiences, but like bring other people their eyes to us. But it's super hard to do in the pandemic, and like on top of already not wanting to do things half the time, then trying to build something is even it's fucking exhausting just to think about. And that's like, I keep getting myself in this rut of overthinking a thing that I'm not even doing yet, and then not doing anything else because of how much I thought about a thing I'm not even doing.
Okay, well, the only thing I have to say to that, Bobby, is you have a lot of people around you that are very helpful, that would be happy to do things with you. You just need to ask for help every once in a while. Then welcome back to the Therapy Cast with Bobby Benedict.
It's impossible because like too much of every person I've known is disappointing. So it's just
I'll keep that in mind. Thank you.
It's been so tough to do anything, especially in the Reno scene, which is why it's crazy to me now how much is working because of how much people want to do things.
Oh yeah.
And so it's so foreign to me.
Well, yeah, and we want to make it a good scene. That's the thing.
Oh God.
And that's why we all show up on Tuesday at Comics and Coffee, one of the best venues in town to do comedy, because it's just a chill vibe,
That's why I feel like I need to I'm gonna die. I feel like I need to start doing a show there now because that was my plan when the pandemic started.
Yeah.
It didn't happen because literally my first show was going to be end of March.
Yeah.
But I feel like I can't start putting on a show in the holiday season. Feels like a bad time to do it.
Except that people will have family here and they don't want to spend time with them. So
that's
they go
true.
To a show.
Might try. Maybe I'll try for something for the end of November.
That's why one of the most busy days at movie theaters now is Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Fuck.
Because who wants to talk to their family?
That's true. All right, you've convinced me that I need to keep trying.
Oh yeah, no, I'm the Jiminy Cricket on your shoulder, going, "Hey Dick, do shit."
That is what I need.
That would make Pinocchio so much better. Jiminy Cricket was just like, "Hey fucker,
yeah, hey,
you
kid,
need to be a real boy.
The fuck are you whining about, kid?"
You're made of wood. You're immortal. Stop complaining.
Get out there and kick ass.
Take names.
My favorite Jiminy Cricket quote, get out there and kick ass.
When you wish upon the star in one hand and shit in the other, which one fills up first?
Oh, shit. I'm fading so hard.
Today. Jeez.
I'm just I feel like I'm pushing you into vulgarity because I am not as boisterous.
I'm just trying to. I'm keeping the vibe up, man.
Yeah. I need to stop having so many stimulants every day.
Well, you need to space them better.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's you have the heavy crash, and that's not a great thing.
Yeah, taking
don't do a Trump level of prednisone, and then
I'm just like taking my not extended release, but the quick release Adderall. Like I'm taking that with coffee, and then being like, haha, energy, and now I'm like, oh fuck,
yeah,
that was a cool 3 hours, and now I just want my brain to be on the floor.
Well, hey, I only have a selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor that I take every day for my anxiety issues. And the worst thing about that is it actually makes you tired. So
yeah,
when you take it first thing in the morning, you're like,
That's the tough part, is like I feel like I need to be back on some sort of mood stabilizers, because like even though the mania is specifically how I create, I need enough serotonin to make it through like the weekend
and life, Yeah,
it's
also
insane.
I think that's kind of a popular myth where it's like, oh, if I do stuff to help myself, I'm not going to be as funny, or I'm not going to create things. It's like, no. If anything, you will be able to organize your thoughts and possibly do better.
It's just you'll need to relearn how to create with your regulated brain.
Yeah.
Rather than just relying on, like manic episodes of being like, this is everything in my brain right now, and all that's going to be funny because I'm fucking God. And then like a week later, you're like, none of those jokes are fucking good anyway. And then it's all garbage because you never want to go back to it.
Yeah. No, it's a fun, vicious cycle. I believe it was Steve Martin who, as soon as he started, getting his emotional issues figured out and everything, he's like, no, I'm just going to play banjo. Yeah. I don't need to do comedy.
That is so crazy to me because, I remember when he was, his comedy was specifically absurd to, avoid the political climate of the time.
Yeah.
And was just about, I'm crazy. Everyone look at me so we don't have to worry about any of that other shit.
Yeah.
And then eventually he was like, I think I'm just going to chill and play some bluegrass.
Yeah, no, it's people can do music because they're happy. People can't do stand-up because they're happy.
Yeah. And that's why, I know... Well, that's the thing, is I know that my stand-up persona is more about just being, goofy but poignant, And so, without any happiness in me, I really drag my own mic down sometimes.
Yeah, I've noticed.
And so, I don't want to keep getting in my own way because I'm trying to build a thing for more than just myself.
Your last World War II bit was interesting.
Oh, yeah, that's one that I wrote a while ago. I got really into jokes that were just lists for a hot minute.
Oh yeah, no,
I think that was my early 2019 meta. Was just what was it? The 3 jokes that I remember writing were I was angry about smells, like male deodorant. So one of them was all of men's scents are just strange abstractions mixed with random nouns. Like
yes.
One of the smells was bear glove.
Yeah.
Or mountain blast.
I never understood bear glove. Does that mean it's supposed to be leathery or what?
I don't fucking know. But then I was like, I'm gonna make my own line of sense. And the line of sense were what is it? Fourth dimensional hand job, Mexican chainsaw beheading,
Keith.
Oh, neighbor fuck. That was the last. Last one was neighbor fuck. And so it's like, yeah, those were the things. And then the other joke was
smell the rainbow. No.
What was the other one? The World War I joke. So I can go into the lists of shitty movie titles, and there used to be way more.
Yeah, that was.
But the good one is just the Medea Wars the World. So I just try to skip to that one.
I love that too, because I just picture Tyler Perry dressed up as Medea with a World War II helmet on,
just gas mask,
holding the Thompson,
just firing 2 Thompsons firing wildly. Fuck, what was
Kerr?
I remember it was Beethoven used to write the way that Michael J. Fox Beethoven's songs were named the same way Michael J. Fox yelled at the band during the high school reunion. What is it? Blues Riffin' B, Watch Me for the Changes, and Try to Keep Up. Because Beethoven would write shit like Sonata in E flat minor.
Watch Me for the Changes, just Try to Keep Up.
Yeah, and so then I was just like, well, what were... I wish we would named modern songs that way. Yeah. Like, what the fuck were the tags? Braiding my hair while going through a Molly fog in F major. Literally just yelling in C minor.
Well, there's always that the song by Cake, commissioning a symphony in C.
Perfect. Yeah, and so like that was the I was just going through a whole thing of jokes that were just lists. So there we go, everyone. I did stand up for you, old stand up that I can't do anymore because 2 of the jokes are just okay, and then the deodorant scents one was basically done by Ian Carmel way better on fucking James Corden. So
okay, well, that's a thing.
Yeah, so I was like, all right, cool. I don't need those jokes anyway.
I had a joke that I was like all set. I wrote it, and I was like looking for a good open mic to go do, and then Family Guy used it because it's like I'm like, yeah. There's a large contingency of people that know Bruce Wayne is Batman because he wasn't down there like pulling Cat 5 cable and just like putting up his own TVs and stuff. He had a crew, and yeah, they'd all be sworn to secrecy. And then like Family Guy did it where it's like apparently Stewie was like the contractor and talking about it's like whatever.
Fuck.
Yeah, no, I watched that with my wife. I was like, they stole my joke, and then my wife's like, they don't know who you are.
Yeah,
like this is.
That's my favorite part about like, I don't know, or when even locally, because comedians will constantly like accuse other comedians of stealing jokes, and it's just like this comedian you're accusing here locally would never even watch that comic. Like we know we know the comedy they like, and also people don't know this a lot about local stand-up comedians. We don't really ever watch that much stand-up because we fucking can't. We're out doing it.
You also start to get influenced.
Yeah, and you don't want to steal that person. You don't even want to steal their voice. Like you can always tell when a new Chappelle special drops because a lot of the newer comics will get up there and be doing that exact cadence with their new jokes. Yeah. Or like shit happens where like you can tell they just recently listened to this person's album because they hit these 3 exact same points, but they're doing their take on it, so it's technically okay.
Oh yeah,
and that's also what's tough because especially here we all are at the same open mics all the time.
Oh yeah.
So we'll all just kind of we're not going to steal each other's jokes, but we'll go, that's a fun premise, and then we'll write our own shit based on that.
Oh yeah.
Because we're like, that's not how I would tackle it.
As someone who's been recording video for stand-ups around the area, I could probably do Dylan Lusk's entire chunk just verbatim.
Oh yeah, that was actually what I was actually planning on doing that at his roast. I was going to introduce like, oh guys, it's who could forget about Dylan Lusk? He recently moved to Reno. Actually, he's not from Reno. He's not in Reno. He's in Sparks, which is just really Sparks is just a part of Reno.
Yeah, let's not get that far into it.
But I mean, honestly, like I've said it before on the podcast, but and all the comics know I can do most people's sets better than they can half the time. Like I know more people's jokes.
I think I'm the outlier because I try to put new stuff every time I go up.
Oh yeah, like
otherwise I'm bored.
There's a few comics that are like they use open mics.
Yeah.
As like here's the new material. Plenty of comics around town, especially now that there's no shows to do or any showcases, they're just trying to stay warm, so they're let's run this material that I know works so I can get the laughter.
Yeah, well, last time I was at the open mic, I tried to run stuff that like worked great in the past, and it's just like, oh really, nothing, cool.
That can be tough.
Yeah.
And especially a lot of it is who's gone on before you, what the dumb host says before you go on stage. Did they kill the entire room's energy for fun? And then also just
did anyone pull a Gigi Allen?
Right. And also just placement in the list, like
yeah. Now I try to generally go pretty quick. That way there's no like vibe yet.
I always whenever it's not a thing I'm in charge of keeping the energy of. I like to go first anyway. I either like to go first or right before the important people.
Oh, yeah.
Because I give enough energy that then carries over.
I remember the worst time I had doing stand-up at Comics and Coffee was when you had 2 established comics that were people of color.
Oh, yeah. That was when...
talking, and then it's like, I'm not saying that's bad or anything. I'm not being racist. I'm just very, 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 very to the 10th power white. And it's just like, well, yeah, no, that's horrible about all that oppression. Let me complain about lines. It's just like, yeah it's...
That was a fun night. The place was packed that night, too.
Also, apparently, the entire crowd was like against me when I used the example of little Catholic Mexican grandma, and then just everything's like the air fell out of the room. Like, what?
Yeah, they're all just like, why would he say those sequence of words being that white?
Because I had a little Catholic Mexican looking grandma.
They don't believe you.
Yeah, and then I felt like really? Because Brandon just did the whole thing about like Jesus turning water into wine would be a business venture that the Jews wouldn't want to do. Like,
it works with his persona.
Cool. Okay.
That's the thing, is like, there's a lot of things that both of us would not be able to get away with because we're the jolly personas.
Yeah, no, I think that was even you talking about when I was talking about heart surgery. It's like, man, if Cliff didn't have heart surgery, we might have an alternate universe where he's just like, you know, like Kinnison.
Doing coke and yelling at everybody.
Yeah.
It'd be dope.
Yeah, I don't think I could be mean if I tried. I mean, I'm not to blow my own horn, but I'm pretty nice.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I've been doing comedy long enough that now people try to ask me for advice.
Yeah.
And it sucks because, like, I've only been doing comedy 5 years. And I know people are like, only, but it's not enough in the grand scheme of stand-up.
So I've been doing comedy, like, double you.
Yeah, like
and I'm not saying I'm like a professional comic or anything. I've just been doing open mics and stuff for like 10 years now, and I feel old. Thank you, Bobby.
You're welcome.
You're taller than me though, so I can feel younger.
It's just comedy sucks.
Remember when height was how you figured out how old somebody was?
It never worked for me because I was fucking like 6'1" and I was 12.
Okay,
it's never functioned. I was threatened by police because they thought I was chasing children around in the park one time.
Well, they weren't wrong.
They weren't
you were
wrong.
Also a child.
They weren't wrong. They were just racist because it was white kids on a military base.
Okay. Yeah, I will say the only time I've ever had a run-in with police where it was maybe a little bit racially charged was when I was visiting my wife when she was then my girlfriend, and she lived in a very large Hispanic community. It was Coachella in Southern California. It's very, like, she was the white person in the neighborhood.
Yep.
Because her mom was white, her dad was Hispanic, and it's a thing. And so I'm like driving home. I got pulled over by the like local Coachella police.
Oh, and they're like, "What are you doing here?"
No, they came over speaking Spanish to me at the window. I'm like, I'm sorry. He's like, oh, your taillight's out. It's like, oh, sorry. I didn't see that. I'll get it fixed. He's like, okay, get it fixed. And he's like he was just completely like, it's a white guy. What's a white guy doing here?
I have to speak English out here? Fucking weird.
It's like 11 o'clock at night. There shouldn't be white people here.
Is he coming to buy drugs?
Yeah, it's just like,
is he coming to gentrify this neighborhood?
I'm coming with a Panera.
Are you gonna make a microbrewery here?
Yes. I think it was Pete Holmes that had the best joke because he was like doing stand up in some inner city area.
Oh yeah,
and he has like stand at the hotel. And he's like, the hotel was terrible. Like he said, the Wi-Fi password should be like rape whitey. Like it's just like, So he said he didn't feel proud about it, but he put like Panera bread into his GPS and just drove.
Work, Starbucks, Panera, any of it, and then you just
white person, yeah.
And then you're just sipping on something nice and white.
Yeah.
We have a dog in a sweater.
Yes.
The only dog I know that enjoys wearing sweaters.
Well, the dog in the sweater that also photobombed your entire video.
Yeah, that video is going to be a lot more dog than it is anything else.
Well, there's downward-facing dog that you tried to do.
Yeah, I tried to give him to give me advice.
Yes.
Just playing with his little doggy eyeballs.
Yeah, well, and then you, ate him at one point.
Yeah, I was just chewing on his ears. I like to do that to dogs.
I want to know what comments we're going to get. Are you going to leave in the yeeting?
Definitely.
Okay, that's going to be
I'm not going to tell anyone there was a couch over there. I'm just going to be like, that's enough of him. Yeet! And
it's just like...
And it wasn't like a gentle toss.
No, it was a full-on throw.
It had to be a full throw, else he wouldn't have made it the distance to the couch.
Yes,
so I knew he would hit the back of it on the blankets and then roll down. And I knew he'd be fine, but also it was really funny.
Yes. Yeah,
because he stopped listening to me and then just sat in front of me looking sad. And I was like, all right, you're just going to get thrown off camera.
This podcast has just become a behind-the-scenes commentary track.
I don't see why not. It's the only thing that I've done. I mean, other than that, what did I do? Oh, you know what? It was kind of cool. It was I did 2 shows this last week. Monday was a planned one that I was a part of. John Botto put on.
I kind of wanted to go to that one, but I was recording at the Emerson.
Man, it was a good one, but it was full up too. It was outside. It was a decent spot. And
that was the one in Donner, right?
This one was it was in Truckee at the Alibi. But yeah, I mean, I've been to Alibi before on the inside. Shows go okay, but then you got to kind of yell over everyone at the bar. This one was outdoors. There was no bar. A waitress came up like a real comedy club would, and so we weren't just having to yell over an audience the whole time.
Well, that's great. Yeah.
And so that show went good. But then on the show was Joe Sorgani, who people might remember from one of the episodes of Same Problems that's out there. If you don't remember him, look him up on Instagram. He's more famous than me. But him and another person, Ivy Miller, who's like a Red Bull sponsored surfboarder.
Oh,
right.
I know
and
this story.
and she's like a YouTube personality. They were both up there, just doing
enjoying things.
Yeah, and they just have they're just all that was all their fans, and so I didn't know Ivy before I went up, and I made a joke, my usual joke that's actually even on Spotify about people saying I should do sports, but there are always sports no one cares about, and my example is wakeboarding, and then I make a joke about being a Red Bull sponsored wakeboarder that dies at 32. I did that on stage, and I got
it's
groans.
Such a ridiculous premise.
Exactly, and then I forgot I was in Truckee, where those people are. And then I was like, "Oh shit, that's like a thing you guys do."
Yeah, in fact, this person that's here specifically.
Yeah, the person that was just on before me.
Yeah.
Oh fuck. Yeah, and so then Joey was putting on the show down at Dead Ringer that next Thursday with our buddies from over in the they're not from the Bay or Sacramento. It's 2 from Modesto, 1 from Turlock. It's Scott Powers, Taylor Evans, and Marcus Peveril. They're dope as fuck, and they were all coming down here for Joe's show. And I just wanted to show up to hang out with my buddies. And then Ivy was there again, and she was super nice and fun. And I checked her stuff out on YouTube, and I was like, "You are fucking weird." So it was it felt better to be like, "Oh, she's not just like a famous surfing person that If you had told me Tony Hawk was there, I would have been like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" And so that's the level of entertainment the audience had.
Then you would have done a terrible joke where it's like, "Man, I don't know how some people do these skateboard tricks. Doing a 900 is impossible."
Yeah, doing a 900. Who the fuck does that for the first time
nobody
ever?
Nobody can do that. Yeah.
And so that's pretty much what I did. But she was very nice. She told me how good I did, and that made me feel validated. And then Joe put me up on the show just because I decided to show up and support the show and support people that I enjoy. And it was a dope fucking show. Joe knows how to fight. He knows how to pack that shit out.
That's good.
It was a full audience. My only problem, it was all the same people for Monday. Because again, the 2 big draws are Joe and Ivy.
Yeah.
It's all their friends again. So I was like, fuck, I can't do the same jokes.
It's okay.
I had to do it wasn't my B material, but it was my old A material. Stuff that I did 2 or 3 years ago that worked, but I wasn't as funny back then. And I didn't know what my persona was, so it was very disconnected. So unfortunately, I didn't kill on Thursday's show. I did good. And because that audience already liked me from the show before, I did well. But it wasn't my best, and I was a little disappointed in myself. Even though it was a great show and I did fine. Mm-hmm. But that's just the level of like neurotic art hatred that I'm at with myself. Is like, even when I do great on both the shows that I have in a week and the open mic was fucking dope that week, everything went well, people have been liking the things that I'm putting out, I'm still just like, I'm fucking up. It's insane.
Yeah, well, that's why you talk to doctors.
I don't like to talk to them.
They're helpful.
I know. Man, my therapist was too expensive. I had to cancel it. Although now maybe if I get rid of the practice space that I've been paying for, because guys, I don't know if you know this, Jostin's moving out, so everyone give love to Nick Jostin. He is no longer part of the Petri dish family physically, but he always will be in our hearts. But he's been like, moving in and out, so I'm thinking maybe I can bring all my practice space shit back into that room. And then not have to be paying like $300 something basically for an apartment I can't use. Yeah.
Where is this?
It's the musicians rehearsal center that's over. It's like a warehouse that they put individual rooms in, it's like double lock enabled.
Okay, well then why don't you record there, man?
Because then there's always people playing, and it's just loud.
Okay.
You gotta like catch it at an off hour, like noon on a Sunday. Then like no one's there, so that's usually okay. But yeah. I don't ever like to go to a separate location in the day. Either way,
the luxuries of pandemic living,
right? So like I feel like if I get rid of the practice space and I move everything here, and then I'll have enough money to then get mental help again.
That's the thing.
I was doing so good last year. I was trying to better myself as a person. Mm-hmm. I was going to the gym all the time. I was trying to just be healthy all around. And then this year I was like, nah, fuck that. That was too much effort. Now everything is too much effort.
The thing you should think about is when you're trying to do stuff and you're miserable, it's harder to do stuff.
That's true.
As someone who's dealt with massive amounts of anxiety and had panic attacks at work, yeah, it's hard when you're miserable. And when you get help, you can start looking forward to the things you enjoy doing. Didn't mean to make it this deep, but hey,
this is kind of a return to podcasting last year. It was just like,
this is an intervention.
It's like, how do we fix the way I have broke myself? And honestly, this is better for me because I
am not a healthcare professional. I'm just here to talk.
That's the best way to do it, because I don't process things unless I say them out loud most of the time.
Well, that's what therapy is. Really. It's okay.
I'm breaking all my shit again.
It's fine.
I forgot how to podcast. But yeah, like, I don't know if this is some sort of weird entertainer's curse or what, but like,
I must air my dirty laundry to everyone.
Yeah, like I don't journal or anything like I was doing before anymore, and I'm not like making notes about stuff. You breaking stuff?
No, just repositioning things.
But like, I have to process by writing a thing out or talking it out and then going back through it. So sometimes I don't learn things about myself until I say some dumb shit on the podcast and then listen back to it the next day and go, oh.
Well, yeah, no, I'm happy to talk. I enjoy talking to you. Oh my God, there's a cat.
Very needy cat. Oh, that's why it's dinner time for the kitty cat.
Hello, kitty cat. I'm allergic to you. Nice.
Butters, go away. You're being bothersome as a cat. But I don't know. So I feel like I've yelled a lot of words that I'll gain some insight on myself. And
well, yeah, and just know I'm always available because I'm not employed right now.
Man. All right, now you're getting hired as my new therapist. Stop doing physical humor.
Well, we just need to get a camera on this podcast.
Yeah, honestly, it wouldn't be too much.
Yeah.
I can just buy more of my little $30 webcams.
Oh yeah.
Set them up in the middle here, and then have the OBS running and live stream the podcast. Like, it would be very undifficult. I just don't.
I can even bring my own webcam if you want.
Fuck.
In fact, I will bring like a laptop I can have Among Us on.
Oh man.
You got an Among Us, and we just do 4 people around the table playing Among Us.
That's the way to do it. I mean that would be. All right, looks like I got to set a schedule. Every Saturday is the Among Us stream.
Okay, and that's fine. You know, schedules are good.
And then the podcast will be sometime.
Sometime.
It's still going to come out every Tuesday.
Yes.
I got to find out when I'm doing it.
It's a real see you next Tuesday.
Yeah. Fuck. I really wish I didn't make the podcast and my open mic the same night. Although I guess it's good. I'm covering my bases. I'm a Tuesday man.
If someone doesn't see you there on Tuesday, they can at least listen to you on Tuesday.
Hell yeah.
And as I'm driving to the open mic, I can listen to the dulcet tones of Bobby Benedict.
I thought you were going to say of yourself.
No, I don't have dulcet tones. I have more of a... I don't know. Like, when I did dispatching, I had people tell me, you sound like you have like a radio voice. I'm like, I'm just dispatching. What do you want?
You definitely have that AM calmness about your voice.
Hey, everybody, it's Weenie in the Butt on Friday.
Fuck. I don't know. I've always been, like, the thing that gets me about my voice is I know the sound of my voice is pleasant enough, but I don't enunciate. Like, my actual speech patterns are wrong.
Bobby Benedict does not enunciate properly.
I really got to get back into, like, training my voice theatrically, I guess is the way to say it, because I already have the projection. I just forgot how to enunciate because it stopped being important to me.
Well, I have an issue with when I try to do accents, it always just wobbles back and forth between accents.
Boo.
Like I think there's only one accent I can really do, and that's like Norse, and then just stay in it. Because it is just it's more a cadence than it is a type of accent. You have the weird pronunciations, but at the same time, it's going back and forth in a way that is
One of my favorite YouTubers, what is his name? Paul Davids, I think. Yeah, he's a guitar guy. He just has a very smooth voice, and it's like very low. It's almost ASMR-like, but he is like some sort of like Nordic European person. So he's just like, this lick is so tasty, guys.
It's a tasty lick.
It's always nice to throw a few of the sevenths in with your chord structures. Let me show you the way you do those voicings. It's so pleasant. I fucking love watching his shit.
Today we are going to flick the G string. There's actually, my brother was learning to play bass. He had this video on like how to string your guitar. And immediately that's like, okay, we're going to start by changing the G string here. It's being kind of weird and a little tinny, so we're just going to change. It's like, do you have no just self-awareness whatsoever?
Nerds.
Like, it's just like, yeah.
All right, let's land this turd. Just kidding. It's been a decent one. I'm just so over the day, and I also forgot the eggs again to go deliver to that person that I've been selling eggs to.
Yes.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Anyway, what you got anything to plug, Cliff? You got some plugs?
I always have something to plug. There is the Normal View podcast that comes out every Friday. Look us up on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere where a podcast comes out, because we use Anchor.fm. Anchor.fm for all your best radio needs. Remember, they have an app. I don't know why I'm advertising now, because I'm not getting paid for this one.
Do it. Show them Libsyn people.
Yes. And then also you can see me behind the camera every Monday at the Emerson. Nice. And sometimes on stage on Tuesdays. So
Dank.
There's that. And not on the Emerson, at Comics and Coffee. And go to Comics and Coffee. It is one of the best coffees I've ever had. Plus there's a bar there. So you can get twitchy, or you can get depressed, or you can get depressed while getting twitchy. It's that's how alcohol works. It's a depressant. And also, you know, if you like me and you like seeing things that I do, you can look at my Instagram. It's at Flynn, FLYNN _1, because I'm a big Tron nerd. And if you see me walking down the street, throw money at me.
Ooh, do that.
Yes, and make sure it's like a big wad of bills. It really hurt me.
Just nail him with a whole rack.
Not a roll of quarters. That's just mean.
No, that's like
that's 20, like what, 25 bucks.
Yeah,
it's, I don't. You know.
Ah, come on. That's two solid bills.
Yes. And of course, watch out for my videography work on the Petri disc. YouTube channel.
Oh yeah.
Apparently,
speaking of,
I've caught your diction disease because I called it the Petri dish. Yes.
I mean, just like the intro of the podcast, the Petri dish. I need to make a new theme song. I've been saying that for a year and a half. But let's see, guys. Go check out the Petri Dish YouTube channel, up and running now. First episode of Too Fat for That is up and going.
Yeah.
Let's see.
It's a good one. We have people actually being proficient, too.
And the second episode, gonna be even danker. I power up almost to Super Saiyan.
Yep.
I do most of the stuff.
And he had to change his pants because of the powering up. It was crazy.
Mm-hmm. And then, let's see. Check out every Tuesdays at this podcast. Listen to this podcast. Plug my own podcast on my own podcast.
Yes.
Go to my open mic. Go to listen to Sad Giants. On Saturdays we are doing Among Us streams on my Twitch, twitch.tv/Bobby Benedict. But also you can just join the Discord and hang out. Join the games if you want. We've been real short-handed lately.
Yeah, we've had maybe like 5 people.
Yeah, maybe like I think one time we had 7, but only for like 2 games.
Yeah, because people had to go to work or whatever.
Yeah, and so play Among Us with us. It's a fun time. I'm going to start editing a couple of the videos and tossing them up on YouTube also at the Petri Dish, so come hang out. What else do I have going on other than that?
Baklava.
Yeah, watch me make baklava. If you like enough of my stuff on YouTube, I'll show you how to make baklava, but without recipes, because I really do want to make that show one of these days.
So we'll create the Benedict culinary universe.
No, it's just gonna be the Petri Dish. We're just putting it all under that umbrella.
The Petri Dish. Does this taste funny to you? No.
Something is going to happen. God, I can't wait to eat that baklava. Yeah. But man, let's see.
You only have 2 hours and 56 minutes left.
Do you have any media of things you enjoy? Have you been checking things out lately?
I've been going back and watching like a bunch of horror movies and stuff because it is the spooky season.
Yes, it is.
And the underrated movies that I really enjoy: Halloween 3: Season of the Witch, just because it's like, if you want to watch the world's most deadbeat dad try to be the hero, it's Halloween 3: Season of the Witch. And also that movie was kind of, when I was a kid and AMC had, the like horror movie things during Halloween, they advertised Season of the Witch by showing the part where the guy walks out of the hospital, pours gasoline all over himself and lights it on fire, and gave no explanation of it. So I'm like, wow, this movie's dark. And then later when you watch the movie, oh yeah, he's a robot. It's just like, okay. But yeah, no, it was just like, yeah, those AMC promos were like the best. Like when they did, they had Talking Heads Psycho Killer over the Psycho promo.
Nice.
Yeah, and it's just like, it gave a vibe. And like the movie Funhouse, where it was actually directed by same guy who did Texas Chainsaw Massacre, whose name I'm blanking on right now, but still. And as soon as I say blanking on, everyone else blanks too. That's just how it works.
Yeah, for some reason the only name coming to my mind is the exact wrong one, and I just keep thinking Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah, he made Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Fuck.
I'm sure whoever's listening to this is screaming at the podcast right now. Exactly.
It's not Quentin Tarantino.
It's definitely not Quentin. We both have the internet right here in front of us.
We can get it. Yeah. Ralph Macchio. Nope.
Yeah, it's all Ralph Macchio.
It's Doof Bigman. Nope. Jehovah, yes.
The Lord Jehovah made it.
Ulanu he.
Toby Hooper, sorry. Yeah, but it was just like this chintzy little thing that he made, but he had complete creative control over it, so it was cool. Nice. And it's about like some kind of psychotic killer that like lives in the funhouse because he's all deformed. So basically a Friday the 13th movie, but in a funhouse. And the stuff is I love that movie so much.
Fuck. I found that. Oh no, my sister gave it to me from a $5 bin in a Walmart like 15 years ago.
Oh yeah, but it is a good movie.
It's so good. It's got what's the guy that was not in Saturday Night Live anymore?
Garrett Norris.
Yes, has him. Paul Sorvino is like an army general for some reason.
Yes.
It's basically, there's a zombie making yogurt, guys, and that's pretty much it. Just watch the rest of it.
Yeah, it's basically consumerism at its peak.
And what I love is it was so low budget that like even the intro was it was basically, I think it was like produced by a Chinese company or something.
Yeah, it's basically they just got funding wherever they could.
Yeah, so it's American made with American actors, but it is not funded or really enjoyed by most Americans.
Well, and it's actually just a really big criticism capitalism.
Yeah.
We turn to something we don't 100% understand because it can make us money. It's just like there's that. And I've noticed that with a lot of horror movies. It's like it's all just thinly veiled things.
Oh yeah, it's just thinly veiled social commentary.
Well, yeah, and like They Live, that one is awesome. And that one is awesome. A, it's got good commentary. B, just for the fight between Roddy Piper and Keith David.
I don't think I've seen that movie.
The 5-minute fight. It is awesome. I would definitely see the movie, and I'm not going to spoil anything. It's John Carpenter. It's 80s as hell. So you'll like it. They Live.
I need to watch some more of those things because, like, I do love horror movies, but I also love dumb, campy shit. But my girlfriend is more into, like, the children's movies. So recently, I'd never watched Hocus Pocus because I never really gave a fuck about Disney movies.
Yeah, I know, because we were like, hey, we're thinking about going to the theater because they're showing it for $1, and you're like, I don't really like kids movies.
I can't anymore. And like we watched Hocus Pocus, it's not my favorite. We also watched Halloween Town, which like I'd go to bat for Halloween Town over Hocus Pocus.
Okay, well,
Hocus Pocus was kind of annoying.
Apparently, they're going to have some kind of like thing where Bette Midler, Kathy Najimy, and the third person, Sarah Jessica Parker, are going to come on like ABC and do some kind of thing. And it's just like, we were looking at the promo stills, and my wife's like, is that Sarah Jessica Parker? Or did they just find somebody to put her in a dress?
Honestly,
like,
if they just found like a random hot blonde actor from now and just replaced Sarah Jessica Parker, it wouldn't be the worst thing.
No, my wife thought it was like a dude in drag. Like, it was just like...
I mean, she's like in her 50s now, though, so like you can't blame her.
I'm not saying that, like, oh, whatever, but like...
You're just saying your wife's mean.
Some people age like wine, others like milk. So
others like witches.
Yes.
Evil witches.
Well, she hasn't eaten children in a while, so...
Yes.
Speaking of witches, did you see that the movie The Witches was remade for HBO Max?
I did not.
Yeah, it's got Anne Hathaway as the head witch, so...
Interesting. I've also been thinking about going through, because, like, they snuck in under the radar, but there's a really solid, I guess you would call it, The Conjuring universe.
Oh, yeah.
All those ones that followed those two.
Yeah, no, my sister saw all of them, because they came out while she was working at the movie theater, so it's just...
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but, like, they didn't advertise that much about it initially. They just seemed to come out, like there was The Conjuring, there was Annabelle, and there was Conjuring 2, and there was another... And then the director started like giving other directors, and he would just produce it. And so like there's a solid like 8 or 9 movies deep in the franchise now. So I need to go back through and look at those because I loved The Conjuring and Annabelle.
Yeah, The Conjuring, starring very underrated character actor Patrick Wilson. Like he was great in The Conjuring. He was also great in I liked him as the villain in Aquaman. It was good, and he was. Owlman in Watchmen and all that kind of stuff. So it's like he plays a good everyman. That's the thing. It's like, but just him in Aquaman was hilarious because he's like chewing the scenery, but it's Aquaman, so you like it. Oh, I loved Aquaman so much. I mean, and that's not something I ever thought I would say, that I would love the Aquaman movie.
I wish DC had put more effort, not into trying to rival the MCU, because like it wasn't until too late that they lost everybody, and then they made great movies like Wonder Woman and Aquaman.
Yeah, and that's the thing. DC, I think, right now needs to just worry about making good movies, and like you could call Joker like an Elseworlds movie because it's not like in the main universe.
Yeah,
and then like with the new Batman coming up, it's not going to tie into anything. And DC is best when it doesn't have to worry about a gigantic universe.
Yep.
Because, to be fair, DC did the giant universe before Marvel ever did. But they did it animated. Like with Justice League and everything like that. Like, Justice League had this huge interconnected universe. And, like, you had Green Lantern, you had, Superman, Batman, the whole thing. And some of their best work was, like, the Superman-Batman adventures, where they had, like, it was a Batman story and a Superman story on, like, Saturday mornings. and it was always good stuff. And they brought in like obscure characters, like you had Dr. Fate in a Superman episode, and it was just like they were having to fight demons. And
fuck,
yeah, no, it was really. And they brought out like Etrigan the demon. They brought out like all sorts of creatures. Like Parasite was one. Like no one's ever going to do Parasite. Oh yeah, no, Parasite. He's one of the villains. Cool. And the Superman show actually had their own version of Harley Quinn, and the Livewire character. She was never a DC character before, but she became one after being on the Superman show. So,
oh, nice. So they really like, I don't know, they kind of brought legitimacy to that universe before anyone cared that much about.
Oh yeah,
those universes.
Well, and it was aimed directly at kids, so it's like it didn't have so much legitimacy because it was like, oh, this was a kid show. But
if only they had leveraged the fact that like all of us now grew up watching those.
Oh yeah, no, like.
They didn't even try.
Well, everyone, when you think of what Batman's voice is, you think Kevin Conroy. It's, he is just Batman, just like the Joker should be Mark Hamill. It's
yeah.
Yeah. I always thought it was weird that Luke was the best Joker.
The fact that he is such an iconic hero and villain at the same time in different nerds' eyes.
Exactly. And apparently he had a cameo in like every Star Wars movie. So that was something he talked about recently. Like, even if he was just some kind of side character away from everything.
That's kind of fun.
He had a cameo. So.
Fuck. All right, hold on. Let's see. I'm only enjoying YouTube things. One of them is just Nuke's Top 5. That guy makes fun paranormal-based videos, and they're the only ones of quality. Chills is fun to listen to because he's dumb as shit and his voice is stupid.
Number 15.
Yeah, but his videos are bad. Nuke's Top 5 is the best. Yeah. Other than that, I just wanted to talk shit about Bon Appetit. They're back making videos.
Oh, you saw the video where it was like, this is why I work for Bon Appetit. And then immediately after that, the two whitest people they have, they made a video with. Like, what the hell?
It's like, well, they shoehorned in, like, they couldn't have gone more the wrong way.
Yeah.
They're like, here's two black people that we're going to now try to prop up to show that we haven't been racist ever. It's like, you aren't owning up to any of this shit. You're just saying, look, guys, we hired black people instead. Anyway, here's...
sorry that we had underrepresented people.
It's like, okay, yeah, now here's videos that are badly... I mean, they're not badly edited. They're just boring as fuck.
Yeah, no, and they don't have the same kind of stuff. And that was kind of the big draw of Bon Appetit for me, is when people would talk about their cultural heritage while they're making their cultural dishes.
Yeah, and that's the thing that sucks, is because, like, I know a lot of their people were white as fuck.
Yeah.
And they definitely, not denigrated exactly, but they played down their people of color. Yeah. Yes, they should have owned up to that sooner. But now they're making Brad boring.
Yeah, and that's hard.
His exact thing was he was going to other cultures, and sure, he was kind of oafish, but he knew that he sucked, and he was trying to learn.
Well, yeah, and he wasn't trying to be like, oh, this is bad because it's different. It's, let me try new things. Let me see what things are.
And now, like, they've basically flattened the wheels on everything to show you that their bus can fit. You know, like, it's fucking dumb.
Yeah.
So, Bon Appetit sucks. Don't ever go back to them. They're all dead to me.
Just go to the Babish universe.
Go to the Babish Culinary Universe. Sola is doing a show, and I'm hoping that can go more. I always thought
she was like the best when I saw her on Bon Appetit, and it made me feel extra angry when it's like, yeah, she's an intern. She doesn't really get paid for any appearances.
Yeah.
Like, what the heck?
So they don't pay her for any of the things, and like they barely acknowledge that every video she appeared in, she's the one that made it better and she convinced Claire to finish a lot of things and gave all the good ideas.
Yeah, she like fixed 5 or 6 of like the gourmet junk food things. Like, well, have you thought about doing this? She's like, oh, I didn't think about that. Let's do this.
Yeah. So, Bon Appetit had a real good run for about a year, but now they suck. Don't ever go back to them.
But the Stump Sola videos on the Babish Universe are great.
They just did a candy one today. That was real fun. I enjoyed it a lot.
I love the one where she had to do the, like, what is it, like the 15th century, like, mac and cheese.
Oh, God. And she was, like, out there with, like, not a cauldron, but it was, like, a big fucking iron pot, pretty much.
Yeah, it was a Dutch oven hanging from a chain. It was just, and I love the fact that, like, I'm looking at that, I'm like, oh, that's the one he used for the Red Dead Redemption.
I loved the one where they did a 7-course meal off of just like bodega.
Oh
shit.
Yeah, just like,
that was real fun because she nailed that.
Oh yeah,
one.
and she's like, she pulled stuff out of her butt like I didn't think she'd be able to do.
Yeah.
Like it's
All right, so yeah, go watch the Babish Culinary Universe. It's way better than Bon Appetit.
Unsubscribe from Bon Appetit.
Yeah. Other than that, guys, thanks for tuning in. We already did all the plugs. We told you what we like. We talked enough. Thanks for being here, Cliff.
We were on the Petri dish.
The Petri dish.
The Petri dish.